It works. Hey everyone, welcome back to another video on trucks, cars, and your host, Coffee. Today we're going to be completing the electric go-kart conversion. In this part, we are going to do all the electrical work one last time, get everything in its final place. There's a few things we need to modify or include, like some of the 12-volt lines and that kind of stuff. I think for this part, I'm going to fast forward through, or time lapse, the installation of these parts, but either before or after I will explain what I'm doing, where they go. That way everything makes sense for you and it's not just a time lapse of me doing it and then boom, it's done. Because you're here to learn, but also to watch and have fun. So I hope we can achieve that without it being a super long video. So with that, let's get started. Alright, here we are at the back of the cart. We're going to install everything for the battery, motor controller one more time, hopefully for the final time. And yeah, let's get to it. All right, pause time lapse. Just want to walk y'all through what we just did. So we got, working from front to back, we got the positive from the battery coming down. Got it zip tied, it's not going to go anywhere, and it's going up through the fuse into the battery box, which we did last time. Then we have our phase sense power wires going to the motor. The motor power wire is zip tied down all the way to the motor as well. And then last on this side, because I wanted to keep them separate, and I just feel like it gives a nice cool look, the negative from the battery is coming down around. And right here, I did this connection because I needed to, one, extend the power wire, and two, I want something that I could easily disconnect and make it shorter and not have to fiddle with a long power wire if I need to deal with the battery or anything. So there's that, and these should be water-ish tight, but I don't plan on running this around when it's downpouring. So okay, now let's work on this side. Oh. So here we have here, same as before, we got our power. It's going to the motor controller. This right here is the yellow wire that matches. These extensions here, I didn't have 8 inches of yellow matching 8-gauge wire, so I used some old white wire, but works fine. Same with here. This is our blue hall wire. Again, didn't have blue. And remember here, blue and green are switched based on our 2 previous tests. Green, I did have some green ground, so I attached it to the green to blue here, and again black. I didn't screw red and black all the way down because I'm going to be adding some leads out of this for our DC to DC converter, which I will do very shortly. But first, let's get this bundle kind of tidied up here. So here is going to be on the stationary part of the go-kart. Down here is on the flexible part. So my plan is I'm going to kind of hang these wires here with a loose zip tie, but it'll give these some freedom to move up and down, but I will still bundle them together as needed. Okay, we have all of this done. Again, these connectors, same as the other one, in case I ever want to remove them. It's easier to lengthen and whatnot. And that's what I had. I don't have soldering iron and whatnot. I have these connectors, so that's what we're gonna do. I might like electrical tape them or something, not sure. But yeah, next thing we need to do now is get the DC to DC converter plugged in. Now, as you can see, just to save a little bit of time, I already put on some of these wire here. Okay, one step backward real quick. I think because these are going to go on top of these, I'm going to put these into our fuse box here. So the way this works is power and negative come into the box here, is converted from 48 volt to 12 volt, and then comes out of these two. So what we need to do is put our negative and positive leads on. All right, there we have it. We got our positive coming into our fuse box now, our negative coming out. Next, now we'll get these on. Oh, let me start it. All right, everyone. There we have it. We have the major components up here, back here, wired up. There's enough slack here just to move around, nice and tight. These are all tied in here. Everything looks good. I don't know if I'm going to tackle this mess quite yet. I could probably pull away the connectors I don't need, but I think I want to get this loom better up front where we need it, and then we can tackle that. Before we move on to the front, I just want to show you that this DC, if the DC is working. I think you can see that right there. So right now, all right, circuit's open, ready to go. If we test here, we have 53 volts. That's the high end of the voltage on our battery. And if we put the leads over here, red to positive, black to negative, see we have 12 volts on the meter. So perfect. Our converter's doing exactly what it should do. All right, everyone, I have the wire loom out of the cart, and just in time I have the more waterproof connectors that I'm going to use. I'm just going to time lapse this It's pretty straightforward, nothing too crazy or complicated. All right, there we have that end of our new connector for the throttle. A lot more watertight now and more secure. I'm happy with that. All right, time to do this about 30 more times. I'll really fast forward doing this. Ready. Okay. Pause time lapse. We need to make sure we line up our connectors here. So looking at this, green needs to go to green. This connector plugs in like this. So looking at that, like if you look at that, we need to do green to green, red to red, black to yellow. So let's do that. That did not click for some reason. Oh, let's take that out. Maybe that might help. Okay, that clicked. Black to yellow. And green to green. Okay, I am okay with that. And last but not least, we got to put this little red thing in. Okay, now just like that, we have a nice, secure, and proper connection for this. So I'm gonna do this several more times now. Y'all don't need to watch that. That's how you do that. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments below, but pretty straightforward. All right, everyone. Here we have the wire loom roughly back in its place with all of its new connectors. If you can see here, I added 3 of my new connectors. Basically, I just replaced the connectors that were bad to begin with. Like back here, I still have the throttle connector. That one worked just fine before, and these here are extras. So now that that's connected, over here, we have the hall wire connected, wrapped up with the spares, and as you can see, I kind of cleaned up the spaghetti mess with some wire loom and some electrical tape that I had. Makes it look real clean now. Now that everything's back and connected and we fiddle with this stuff, we need to do another test and make sure it works before we move on to the next step. Alright, still works. Okay, now that we know that works, the next thing I want to do is get this wire loom zip tied as close as I can to where I need to, because I think I need to add some extensions on to the connectors that go to these, probably 6 inches or so. And once we do that, pretty much that loom is ready to go, and we'll get the throttle down. And from that point, the go-kart will go. It's just, I think I want to get the horn and lights wired up before we really get going on a test drive, just to make sure it all works. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, we have our wire loom pretty much in its final spot. We come up here. All these terminate about right here, but we need it up here for the buttons. They're all about 6 inches short, but I want to have a little bit of slack to remove it and stuff, so I'll probably put 10 or 12 inches extra of wire. What I'm going to do, I want to reuse these connectors, these spade bits to go in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut near the back here. That way it extends this, and I'm going to put a piece of wire in between with a butt connector. So that's what we're going to do. Alright guys, there we have it. There's 3 of the 6 we need to extend. These are all for the forward and backwards. And then these that I bought, this is heat shrink butt connector tubing. I'm gonna go ahead and shrink this before I move on to the next one, make sure it all stays. So let's go ahead and do that. Right. Those look real good. Now let's do these. All right, there we have decent connections. Everything feels nice and tight. All right. Oh, and it's still hot. I was gonna show y'all. So I did a slower time lapse for y'all for this one, kind of show y'all what I was doing. I'm gonna really speed through these connectors because it's pretty much the same. I'm gonna snip, extend, connect, heat shrink, and then I think we can get this stuff connected and move on to probably the throttle next. I think that's the main components of the cart. Here we go. All right, everyone, there we have it. These are ready to go. So another way I could have done this is I could have just snipped the head of these off, it extended the wire more, and put on a new spade bit. And that way I only had one butt connector, but I was running low on this size spade bit, so I wanted to keep these and reuse these. Also, it really helps having the correct color wire at the end, so you know you keep everything lined up where it needs, so you're not trying to remember, oh, you know, there's 4 different wire color changes up to from end to end. So it's good to do this, I think. So there we have it. These are extended. I think I'm gonna tape or tie these together. Yeah, let's tape these together. So since these are gonna be under the dash, they don't have to be fully like wire loomed and stuff. I'm just taping them together to kind of keep the organization a bit better. Because right now it's a bit of a spaghetti, but if we can get them all taped, it'll make things a bit more organized. So let's do that. All right. Probably take one more right here. It also just makes things easier to zip tie too when the time comes. Actually, no, I'm not gonna do that. I actually don't know if y'all were seeing what I was doing. There we go. Okay, got this together, nice and separated enough to get it put. Now let's do this one. And take my electric tape away. All right, there we have it. All right, let's get this tied back up in its place now. All right, let's get it connected up into its final place and yeah, test it one more time, make sure everything's good. And I'm running the throttle underneath over here to its connector. Or not the throttle, I'm sorry, the power lock. Alright, that's just enough slack under there that I can zip tie it to something. Alright, let's test this stuff one more time. I'm on medium speed right now. Sweet. High speed. Sweet. Back. Alright. It's all working. Alright, next I'm going to mount the throttle, but I have a bit of a, not situation, I was going to say situation, I guess I have some choices is the correct word. Now obviously I can't completely put it where the old throttle was because it won't go down. So my next option is either bring it forward, because this is the amount of play that I have in it. But also, now that I have an option to move it, I kind of want to be more comfortable. So, guess that's okay. But I kind of like over here too, in the passenger footwell, because something I like about this is it's movable. I can have it here if I don't like it. I can move it. Put it like just right there. Gives me a bit of a wider stance that I can drive. Yeah, I'm a bit tight here. So for now, I think I'm gonna put it on about right there. And once I get that down, then I'll get the slack tightened up. All right, so here's our pedal. Now you might be thinking, how do we get to the screws under here? It's, the way this works, up here, there's a little C pin there, clamp. Just take our needle nose, pop it around. Oh, sorry. Come on. Okay, now that I use my needle nose to kind of push it, because if you look at this one, it's the same. Kind of hard to get. It's kind of the same. It's kind of hard to get anything under. Now that it's free, I think we can just do that. Yep. Well, then it rolls away. Now I get to go find that. Now this pin just comes out, and you can open it and get to your screw holes. All right, everyone, there we have it. The stock necessity things to make a electric go-kart are now installed. I haven't fully wire managed the dash yet because after this little test, I'm going to come back and wire in all the 12-volt accessories. But let's hop in and give it a test with everything bolted down and whatnot. Super excited for this. Every time I wasn't testing it, I disconnected the fuse. That's what I really like about that fuse. That way, nothing's possibly energized. So, connected the fuse. Now let's do this. Key, forward. I'm on speed 2. Oh, yes. Back. Back forward. Brakes work. Alright. Speed 3. Oh, yeah. Nice and fast. Speed 1. 2. Awesome. Everything works. Disconnect the fuse. Alright, now nothing's hot. Alright everyone, we're back at the front of the vehicle, at the front of the cart. I'm going to start with the wiring here, get on place, and then I can, sorry for the neighbors, I can work my way backwards with the correct amount of length of wire and whatnot. So here we have our end pieces to our lights here. These used to go into a connector and then it ran however in the old wire loom. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take these off, put the power on a spade bit directly onto the switch because the power is going to go in there, and then we'll connect the negative, back how it needs to go. So first thing I'm going to do is cut these off. So having installed these before, I know what color is what here. Green is my positive, brown is my negative. Because right here I can see brown is bypassing this fuse, so green is my positive here. Now we got that one ready. Cut this little hair shorter. There we go. Put that back in here again for like the 5th time. Okay, that is in. Okay, alright, let's scrimp. Perfect. Okay. Bingo. And the reason for the heat shrink, I don't want this to not touch anything, so I'm going to put this over just like that, and to make this a bit more secure. Next, while we're here, I'm going to do the negatives. So this is going to bypass our switch. Power runs through the switch, and when you push it, it connects that power or closes the circuit. So we need these to bypass and go straight to our little fuse box at the back of the cart. I'm going to extend these a bit. So this one, I'm going to tie these together again. Don't need a heat shrink because I'm going to use this butt connector and connect it to freaking bugs, man. Going to connect it to our negative wire. If you know how to solder, cool, go for it. I do not, so that's why I'm doing all these butt connectors. So, all right, that's in. I don't remember what's what on here, but I think it's the outside wires, the outside pegs that are our positives. So, cool. All right, and this will all get zip tied up under the dash later. So now what I need is wire coming down around this way to the fuse box in the back. here's the wire I'm going to be using. This is old audio wire from when I installed subwoofer and speakers and stuff in my Dart. Which, by the way, if you need help with, I have 10 or 11 videos and more coming on that. So we don't have red and black here. Blue and black. Do whatever color. I think I'm going to keep black as negative just to keep things consistent, and blue is power. So I'm going to separate these a little bit. Oh, come on. There we go. Probably do about that much. All right, so let's turn our dash back over again. I'm gonna do the same thing because we need a spade connector. I'm gonna put shrink wrap. Going to pull a bit of that off. Let's twist this so it goes in our spade connector. Hopefully it goes in our spade connector. Cool. So on this project, I've just been using wire from other projects around left over, so that's why I'm using this. This is 14 gauge. It's a bit overkill for this application, but it still works just fine. And also, because it's 14 gauge, it doesn't really fit this spade bit. The insulation back here is a bit too big, but this is the smallest bit I have that fits on this light. Any other bigger ones, like a bigger gauge fit this, it's too big for that. So doing the best with what I got. I'm twisting this on just to keep the wires together. There we go. All right, now I'm gonna crimp the heck out of this so that it stays. All right, we are good. Now I'm gonna pull the heat shrink up and over the spade bit so that that doesn't contact anything else that it's not supposed to. Perfect. While we let that cool, I'm going to do the negative, so let's strip this. There we go. Yeah, cleaning up those wires definitely helped. Not sure if y'all can see this, but I've done this about 30 times already. Crimpers and mash. There we go. All right, let's heat shrink this one as well. All right, pull test is good. So now let's just plug these in on each side. Yeah, these are a bit too big. I might have to change these to smaller ones later, but it's what I have, unfortunately. All right, set that down. I could see those coming out. So next, I'm gonna get a rough estimate length of wire and snip it at the back. Again, this isn't permanent, guys. This is literally because I'm a perfectionist, getting the right length. Run that up through there. Actually, not over the suspension. Here. While I'm dry fitting everything. I'll probably run it to there and then across. Yeah, that way it's a little more secure. That's the last of the time I use because I'm always small. All right, everyone, you just saw I got the negative to the negative side here of this fuse box and the positive to the positive. What I want to do now is close the fuse for the whole system. That should energize this, and then we can go to the front and see if our lights are working. So let's do that. All right, it is live now. You can see, so there's no fuse jumping. I need to put a fuse in. So that's good. This has power. That's really good. Okay, I'm putting in a 15 amp fuse. I think these lights are like 5 amps a piece or something, and then they also have their own fuses up near the light. So these are double fused. Okay, the light went off. So in this system, red light means there's an issue. It's completed, so let's go to the front and see. So the way this is wired, I don't have to have the key on for the lights to be on. It's just kind of the way that this system worked out with the fuse box and everything, but I don't ever, I mean, I could have the lights on. Oh, it does work. Haha. So there we go. Lights are on. That's awesome. So awesome. The lights are working. The horn is pretty much the same. I'm going to get that installed real quick, then come back and show y'all where everything's going, how it's running. It's pretty similar to the lights though. Positive, negative from the fuse box going. Negative is going to go straight to one side of the horn. Positive is going to go to the switch on the dash, and then there's going to be a positive from the switch on the dash to the horn, and then when you press it, beep beep, completes the circuit or closes the circuit and should work. So I'm going to run that and then show y'all. All right, everyone, I'm back. So I have some good news and I have some really bad news. To start with the good news, I finished all the electrical work that I previously talked about. I got the lights done. Y'all saw that. I got the horn in. That was real easy. I'll run over that real quick. And something I forgot to mention was the LCD voltage meter. That was a super easy wire in. I'll run over that real quick. Let me show y'all the wiring. All right, as you can see here, got 2 fuses. This is the one we worked on for the lights. This one's for the horn. We got our negative and our positive, and it just follows the same route going down here to the front of the cart right here. The way this works, the positive is coming in to the switch. Let me turn, coming into the switch, and then when you press the switch, it completes the circuit and it comes back down underneath to our horn right here, which I've got all nice and wired up, and then the negative comes back to the fuse. Next, we have the LCD. So what I need for that is to read directly the 48-ish 52 volts that come from the battery. I can't obviously go through the fuse box here because that's 12 volts. So what I did is I tapped exactly into here. The circuit's off right now and whatnot. So we got negative, positive, and it's literally just this cable. I ran it through up to the front. It follows the wire harness we put in up through underneath the dash right here to the screen, and as you can see, the little wire comes out right here hiding into the monitor. So I'm gonna close the fuse, and just like that we have our voltage reading. You can see I'm about 84-85%. Had to use the manual to set it up. It has different settings for different battery types, so that's what my battery is currently reading. So like that, everything works. And then to the bad news, when I got all that in, I was going to take it for a quick test drive, just make sure everything was good so I can show you all shots and all those kind of things. And turns out I don't have enough torque. So again, I want to show y'all it working off the ground. It works fine off the ground, but then I will set it on the ground and show y'all I got no torque. And I think that's going to be down to the gear ratio, but first let me show y'all everything here. Well, that's not good. Why isn't it working right now? Oh, am I an idiot and was holding the brake? Don't hold the brake, guys. I'm gonna keep that in there for y'all. Don't hold the brake when you're testing. Okay, forward. Works just fine. There's low, medium, high. And there's reverse. I'm gonna drop it on the ground. And watch, we have no torque. Like, it should be a lot faster than that. So I think what the problem is, that's all unedited. I'm showing y'all right there. Don't got enough torque. And I think what the problem is, gearing ratio. You look here, this is a 10-tooth sprocket. I kept the sprocket that came with the go-kart. This, I counted later, I didn't realize how big of a deal it was, is a 32-tooth sprocket. That is a horrible gear ratio of 3.2 to 1. You divide this one by this one. Basically going to need to replace this sprocket. Now, I have a dilemma here. I can keep this same size chain, this size 420, but to do that, to get 53 or 64 or 70 teeth, this sprocket is going to have to be like 7 to 9 inches across. And I think my limit here on that is going to be the distance between the sprocket and this frame. So what I might end up doing is going back to the size sprocket that came with this motor. It's called a T8F or something like that. And that's a smaller chain and tooth size. And I can get a decent sized bottom sprocket here that will fit here with 80, 70 tooth or something like that. So I think that's what we're going to have to do. So I'm sorry, that's how we're going to have to end part 5, I think this is. No test drive. It works just fine in the air. I'm disappointed. I'm sure y'all are disappointed. But hey, part 6, dropping the axle, changing out the gear ratio, and hoping at that point it drives, because it should have enough torque. I've seen people use this same motor on different applications on YouTube. So hopefully that'll work. Just changing the gear ratio, because you could see it wanted to move enough, but it don't have enough torque to get going. So with that, thanks for watching. Hope y'all found the electrical install fun and informational. With that, please like the video, comment any questions if you liked it, and yeah, don't forget to subscribe, check out the next video, and hopefully then we can finally drive this electric go-kart conversion. Thanks for watching Trucks, Cars, and your host Coffee. On that disappointment, bye.